Hi, this is Zack Space, and I'm here in Columbus, Ohio at the RCAP conference, annual conference, actually from all over the country, where they're doing what they can to help bridge this divide that exists between those who live in rural America and those who live in urban and suburban areas. All of us in Southeastern and East Central Ohio understand that, we get that, the folks here at RCAP get that, and with their help and with your help, we're going to make this a much more equitable, more fair, and economically viable district by the time we're done.
Zack has been a real supporter and champion of all the rural communities and small communities out there, not only in his district, but he's worked on legislation that has impacted rural communities across the country. The recent broadband, $66 million, an initiative that Congressman Space worked very diligently on for 34 counties in Southern Ohio. That's impressive in these times. So again, thank you for all the hard work that you do and being a champion of rural communities and a strong supporter of the Rural Community Assistance Program.
Thank you, John and Randy and Deb, for all the great work you do for rural communities here in the state of Ohio. I want to welcome everyone here. If you're from out of state, welcome to the great state of Ohio. I was born and raised in Dover, Ohio, where I live now. Dover is a small town, like all the towns and villages that I represent in Ohio's 18th district. And it's a wonderful place to raise a family. It's an aesthetically beautiful place. There's a strong sense of community. When we achieve something, we celebrate together as a community. When we experience a loss, we grieve together. And I'd not rather live anywhere else but Dover, Ohio, or a town like it. Rural communities are what make this nation what it is. But we're not without our challenges. Challenges that have in recent years, I believe, grown greater. Accessing education, accessing health care, accessing the infrastructure necessary for economic development, accessing technology, all these things we in rural Ohio, rural America, suffer disadvantage with. And the work that RCAP does helps bridge those divides that exist between rural America and urban and suburban America. Now, this is a very difficult time for a lot of people. Recessions are never easy, but they're especially hard on areas like ours. We tend to be the first in and the last out. And a lot of that has to do with those disadvantages that I mentioned. We're fighting a war right now. One that simply strives to put our workers, our seniors, our veterans, and our children on the level playing field that they deserve. And again, the work that RCAP does helps achieve that. And it manifests itself in ways that are meaningful beyond explanation. John mentioned the Broadband project that we were able to get funded through the American Recovery Act. And I know that act has done a lot of good things for a lot of people in the state of Ohio and around the country. But the broadband funding is particularly important for us because it's turning around a paradigm. Up to this point, technology has been one of the reasons that this divide between rural America and the rest of the country has been growing. Now, suddenly, we've shifted the tables, and it's going to be one of the reasons why that divide will shrink. because not only will this provide the people of rural America, rural Ohio, with the type of access they need to engage in meaningful economic competition with the rest of the country, it's going to help us overcome this deficiency in education we have. Half the national average in my district, four-year college-educated folks. Half the national average. That is deplorable. Broadband helps rectify that. Healthcare access. Lives will be saved because of this. Opportunity. You know what? There's a moment in time that sticks in my mind. It happened in my district about a year ago. I've got a terrific staff, and some of them are here today. Ken Engstrom and Glenn Enslin and Trish McConnell and Cindy Cunningham and Dwight's over there. I mentioned to some folks earlier that what's special about my staff is not just their devotion and hard work and everything else, but they care. They care about what we do and making an impact. As a result of their urging, we've been engaged in trying to help those who are less fortunate by participating in food drives and showing up at soup kitchens and trying to help food banks keep their shelves full. And just about a year ago, we were down in Southern Ohio, one of the more depressed counties of my district, and we were at a pantry. And there were people walking through this pantry getting food that they needed to feed their families. And there was a woman who had her son with her. And I tell this story because it had an impact on me. This little boy, about, 11 or 12 years old, was with his mother in a food line, and you could tell by looking at them this wasn't the first time they'd been in this pantry. And he was handling himself with as much dignity as anyone could expect an 11-year-old to have while walking through a food line. And I couldn't help but wonder what it would have been for me. What would it have been like for me? Think about it, when you were 11 years old, having to go through a food line with your mother just to eat. The indignity, the embarrassment, the humiliation that might cause. He handled it quite well. But then I thought, what would it be like for my son? My son's 19 now. He was about 17 or 18 then. But it wasn't that long ago that he was 11 or 12. While I dearly miss those days, I can fondly remember them. And I couldn't imagine how he would have handled it. Or what it would have been like for me to take my son through a food line so that we could eat. And that little boy has stuck with me. And he needs a lot of things. He needs a system that provides him an education. He needs access to the best health care. He needs economic opportunity. Above all, what he needs and what he deserves is a government that cares enough about him to provide him with an opportunity, to provide him with the necessary tools that he needs to succeed. And that's the commitment that my staff and I have made. That's the commitment the folks at RCAP have made in their devotion to this cause. I look forward to a day in the not too distant future when it's no longer expected that for that 11-year-old boy to succeed someday, he has to leave home and go to Chicago or Cleveland or Columbus or Los Angeles. That it will be normal to find success in our backyards. It's not going to come easy, and it's not going to come quickly. But with the work that we've seen happening with agencies like RCAP and USDA, which Randy used to be over at Rural Development in Columbus, and the Appalachian Regional Commission, we're beginning to see the emphasis that we need to place on areas like Southeastern Ohio. And this award is personally very meaningful for me, and I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you, not just for recognizing my staff and me for our work, but for the work that you do every day. Thank you very much.